Alright, so I'm going to inject the mag and we'll do a full teardown. First thing is popping the pins. I'm going to pop both because of this prototype hand mag. Well, it doesn't split as well as the Helix mag well. Once I'm off, disconnect this tube, and then I can see it's hard to show on camera while it's connected. Disconnect the small QEV line from the SMAV3 valve. So I'm going to set the upper aside for just a minute and kind of go through the lower. So in here you can see this little gold bit, and that is the SMAV3 valve. If I switch the safety to fire, you can see the very slight trigger. It's something I have to work on. Pushing the valve stem and click, 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 fire, fire, fire. So that's that. Next we'll go down to the regulator, which for this build I just used a stock Gen 1 ion regulator. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be too easy to switch out for anything else because the grip is really modeled after it and width-wise for it. So I'm going to pull the top hose line. I might need a pair of pliers. There we go. And then the regulator comes out. So this back grip portion has a little shelf in here that's designed to really hold the regulator in place once it's been inserted into the grip. The regulator itself, I think I'm going to have us zoom in a little. Yeah, I'll just hold it up. Is a threaded, well, it's an aluminum thread saver for your tank that I purchased on eBay, and then drilled and threaded 2 holes. Kind of see them there. To thread in these 2 barbs at 1032 thread. Now, if you're familiar with a mechanical ion setup, there's generally a from the tank to a T, and then from the T splitting to the SMAV3 valve and to the rear of the ion donut air port. Turns out you don't have to have a T. It's really designed that way to drop into a ion frame, and that's, you know, kind of how the solenoid and the stock board work. But I didn't have room for a T in this body, so turns out this works just fine. Alright, so with that off and the lower, you've got a safety. That's fire. That's safe. It's supposed to be. And that's really all that's left in there. I'm not going to pull the valve because it is such a pain to get the little small washer on there. It's probably something I'm going to change in a future model, that I will have the SMAV3 sit in a tray that slides in or something, rather than this, because it's so hard to assemble once it's in place to get a small washer on. This one's still a little bit loose because it's still there. It's still just too difficult to get out of the way. Alright, so I'll set that aside and we'll go over the upper. So the upper ion core inside the upper is really just held in with 1 screw, but this banjo fitting gets in the way if you try and pull it with it on there. So there's 1 screw up on top. Sorry, pull this right. Hose. I have to pull the Lapco. Because of the M-lock points, the Lapco fake suppressor can't come in any further than that. But now you see ion core. It's It's your fairly stock run-of-the-mill ion core. For it to be a mechanical ion, it has to have a double-tailed O-ring bolt. And other than that, I've got a little bit of gaff tape wrapped around this one to kind of protect the body and center it in the M-lock upper. But other than that, no eyes, purely mechanical. As far as the upper itself, with the ion core out, you can really see just where and what's cut up. And it's really just that a large section has been removed. It's not just the section for the breech, like you might think. It's actually pretty much everything post of that. Where's the hole? There. So that there's room for hoses and stuff inside the upper and for the rear banjo. There was no point in my mind of doing a cut here and a cut here and keeping some section right here. It was just going to get in the way and clamp on hoses and stuff. So cleanly removed. This white bit right here is printed, and it's a M-lock T-nut at the front, and then this is just what the front pin on the body clips into. The rear pin clips into what was one of the clamp screws on the M-lock handguard, and I drilled it out a little, and now a pin slides through. The pins themselves, I should mention, are actually the magazine well pin from a MCS Vortex. So I buy them from MCS. I think they're like $7. They're a very expensive little pin. And then that's pretty much everything on the upper. This is, it's just a cosmetic user's choice, same as the backup sights. So, the valve, or the T-barb. To fit inside the shape of this M-lock tube, there is no room for a QEV. So I had to find a very low profile T-bar. And so I lose a bit of efficiency and rate of fire from a mechanical ion setup without having a QEV valve, or a quick exhaust valve, not a QEV valve. Anyways, but it still functions, and it's very soft. It's almost startlingly quiet. Wow, can't talk. But that is Project Salamander Mark IV. I suppose I should include these.